We are approaching on 1 year anniversary since October 7th. When we hear the word anniversary, very often we think of something positive, a day of celebration, but of course we use it to mark any event on the calendar. Now what's fascinating is that last year, October 7th, came out, as we all know, on the Jewish holiday of Simchat Torah, which is perhaps the most exciting, the most happy day on the Jewish calendar. The events that unfolded on October 7th, we all not only remember, but it's, I am sure, very vivid in our minds. It's not something from far back history, but it's something that happens in our life. But just to say those words is scary. We are, thank God, quite a few years since the Holocaust. We thought perhaps we're at a place that things of that nature are not able to happen again. And October 7th came around and was a terrible reminder that the opposite of good, evil, is something that still exists in the world. And that's something that we have to always remember. It's something that has to be on our mind. There's an opposite side to good that's in the world. Our job, of course, is first and foremost to spread good, to spread light, to spread positivity to the world. And if we're able to do a little more of that, to add a little more of goodness, a little more kindness, a little more positive things in the world, that is the first initial step that we could take in dispelling and getting rid of the darkness and the bad. On the day of October 7th, there's a number of things that occurred. But I want to start off with lighting a special memorial candle, also for all those that were massacred, over 1,000 people in Israel on October 7th. Also for those that were taken hostage and unfortunately over there were killed, including, most recently, 6 young precious souls. And also for any members of the IDF since October 7th that protecting the land and protecting the people, they gave the ultimate sacrifice of their life. I would like to ask the former mayor, Mayor Jim Langfelder, to please come up and light the candle in their memory. It's very special that you're here with us today, showing your support for the Jewish community. You have always been a good friend of the community. You have your own family heritage that goes back to the Jewish people. And without further ado, I'd like to ask you to please come up and light the candle. Thank you so much. So we want to start off with doing a prayer for all those that are living in the Holy Land, especially the brave soldiers that are, like mentioned, protecting every day. I want to ask Rabbi Barry Marks to please come up and lead us with chapter 123 of Psalms.
Shir HaMa'alot, Elecha Nasati et Einai Hayoshvi Bashamayim. Hinecha Einei Avadim El Yad Adonaihem, Ke Einei Shivcha El Yad Gvirta. Kain Einenu Adonai Eloheinu, Ad Shiachanenu, Chanenu Adonai Chanenu, Ki Rav Savanu Vuz, Rabat Savala Nafshenu Hala'ag, Hasha'ananim Habuz Legeonim. A song of ascents To you I lifted up my eyes, you who dwell in heaven. Behold, as the eyes of slaves to the hand of their masters, as the eyes of a handmaid to the hand of her mistress, so are our eyes to the Lord our God until he favors us. Favor us, O Lord, favor us, for we are fully sated with contempt. Our soul is fully sated with the ridicule of the complacent, the contempt shown to the valley of doves. Baruch Tiyah.
Thank you. What is perhaps most on our mind since October 7th, in one way, is definitely all of the hostages that were taken on October 7th and are still being held captive until today. So we're going to say a special prayer specifically with that in mind for the immediately imminent release of every one of the hostages that are being held right now as we speak by Hamas. I'm going to ask Rabbi Arthur Stern to lead us in chapter 20 in English, please.
Please feel free to join in with me. For the conductor, a song of David. May the Lord answer you on a day of distress. May the name of the God of Jacob fortify you. May he send your aid from his sanctuary, and may he support you from Zion. May he remember all your meal offerings, and may he accept your fat burnt offerings forever. May he give you as your heart desires, and may he fulfill all your counsel. Let us sing praises for your salvation, and let us assemble in the name of our God. May the Lord fulfill all your requests. Now I know that the Lord saved his anointed. He answered him from his holy heavens with the mighty acts of salvation from his right hand. These trust in chariots and these in horses. But we mention the name of the Lord our God. They kneel and fall, but we rise and gain strength. O Lord, save us. May the King answer us on the day we call.
Thank you. As we find ourselves now on the Jewish calendar, just a few weeks, like mentioned, before October 7th, it's also, of course, just a few weeks before the holiday season on the Jewish calendar, starting with the high holidays, with Rosh Hashanah, and all the holidays that come after that. So now we're in the final month of the year on the Jewish calendar. It's called the month of Elul. This month has a special significance, and it's even more special that the day that we are gathering together is during this month. It says about this month something special, that as we approach the new year, it's a time that we are supposed to reflect and focus and think about how was our past year and how is our upcoming year going to be even better. And that message is something that we have to keep in mind. In every area, we need it to be better. Whether it's related to what we're discussing today, if there's anything additional that somebody is able to do to bring the miracle that's needed for the immediate release of all of the hostages, and in general, thinking about ourselves, how we're able to become better and more refined as the new year approaches. And the story goes, it's like the king who it's really hard to approach him. Of course, God Almighty is the King of all kings. And although we can always turn to God and pray, but there's a special significance this time of year. Like when the king goes out of his palace, out of the capital city, and he's in the fields, and over there when the fieldsmen, the simple folks, the farmers, or whoever else it is, goes out to greet him, he is very accepting and excited to see everybody. And that's kind of what it's like now. So it's a good time that we're sitting together and we're praying to ask of God Almighty the most important thing that we're discussing here, and that is safety for everybody in the Holy Land, including and primarily the safety and the return of all of the hostages. As we approach the month as we approach Rosh Hashanah during this month, there's a few traditions that we add, including the blowing of the shofar. So, of course, the actual mitzvah, the requirement is on Rosh Hashanah, which this year is on Thursday and Friday, October 3rd and October 4th. Very important, make sure you hear the shofar then. But we have a tradition to blow it during the month of Elul as well, and it's supposed to awaken us a little bit, that we get to think of everything we're discussing here today without any speaking, without any singing, just a simple sound of the shofar. Once again, the main thing is to hear it on Rosh Hashanah itself, of course. I would like to ask my wife, who really put this event together, to please come up, say a few words, and introduce our speaker, Amit. Mrs. Sarah Tern.
When the news broke on October 7, many were shocked. I was consumed by grief and horror, but never surprised that this could happen, even in 2023. You see, I grew up in the shadows of the Holocaust, with both of my grandparents being survivors, along with many of my teachers and mentors. I learned from a young age that atrocities can happen at any time. I remember a teacher telling us that every time she entered a building, she would look for an escape route, and it was a lesson that she had internalized from the Holocaust. Germany was a sophisticated country with Jews holding positions of power and influence. Yet, as we all know, that nothing mattered. The Nazis hunted down every Jew, regardless of status, driven by pure hate. There will always be those who harbor hatred against the Jewish people. As history has shown, trying to hide or assimilate will not change that. On October 7, we saw this hatred once again, as Hamas hunted down those who had been advocates for peace, people who had stood on the front lines for Palestinian rights. It didn't matter. They were targeted simply for being Jewish. But it is this history and these lessons that make me feel so privileged to have dedicated our lives to showcasing the beauty, the pride, and joy of Judaism, even to those who may have not seen their Jewish heritage as a core part of their identity. The Nazis hunted us down with hate. We pursue our fellow Jews with love. The Jewish people have always survived. That's why I'm honored to introduce our speaker, a symbol of strength and resilience, who embodies the spirit of Jewish survival and pride. Tonight, we gather to tell Amit that we stand with her and with all of Israel. We are one people united, no matter where we are. Her resilience reminds us that we too have the strength to rise above our challenges and to contribute to the healing of Israel and the Jewish people through our commitment to Torah, mitzvot, and acts of kindness. Amit.
My name is Amit Ganish. I live in Or Yehuda. It's a small city next to Tel Aviv. I'm 24 years old. I study law. I just finished my second year. I study in Bar Ilan University, if you know. I have one little brother. His name is Guy. You can see this picture. He was injured in Gaza before a few months, but now he's okay, and he recovered and returned to the army again. I have one big sister. Her name is Yarden. This is my best friend. You can see Zohar. She was one of my soldiers. I was officer in the army, and she was one of my soldiers, and now we are best friends. And in the middle, you can see me and my boyfriend. His name is Zirad. We are together 2 years, and when I come back home, we'll move to live together. So my story of the Nova Festival and the October 7th begins, I think, 1 month before the October 7th. Me and Zor bought tickets to the festival, and it's supposed to be the biggest festival that will be in Israel. So we were very excited to go, and we just thought it's gonna be fun. And on October 6th, I was in Kiddush with my family. It was Friday night, and we sat together, all the family around the table, and ate. But I felt something wrong. I don't know what, I don't know why, but I had bad feelings that this festival will not be fun. So I told my mom, Mom, I think that I don't want to go because I think that, I don't know if I love these festivals, and I just have bad feelings, little intuition. So I decided to go. My mom told me, Amit, you will start the second year in 1 week. Just go, enjoy with your friends. You deserve it. Maybe this will be the last festival in all this year. It's gonna be hard. So go, enjoy. And I decided to go, and I drove to Zohar's house. She lived in the south, and we drove together to the Nova Festival. The festival was really close to Gaza's border, less than 1 kilometer from the border, but this is my country, so I didn't worry because I was there in the army, and also my friend Zohar lived there, so this is my country. I felt safe. So we arrived to the party. We arrived to the party, and we saw Matan. Matan was Zohar's boyfriend. He worked there, he did all the sound, he had company, and he did all the sound in the festival and the electricity. So we worked really hard, and we saw him, we were very excited to see him, hug and kisses, and it was like the environment of festival and a lot of happy people. It was amazing. I just got into the festival, saw all these happy people, and my feelings just, it's gonna be great festival. Amit, you will enjoy. And we danced, and we party all night. We drank some alcohol. Yeah, it was fun until 6:30 in the morning. We looked to the sky. We saw rockets from Gaza towards us. The music stopped. The festival is over, and I felt that was my feelings. Okay, now it's gonna end. I felt that something will be here, and that's over. Like, I saw rockets. I didn't get into panic. That's something that in Israel we used to rockets from Gaza, unfortunately. And also Zohar lives in the south, so she really used to it. We were okay. Don't get into panic. It's gonna be fine. And in this point, people just took their cars and drove home. This is another pictures. You can see the rockets from Gaza. And this is me and Zohar, and this is me and my friends before they drove home. Me and Zohar stayed in the area of the festival because we wanted to help Matan with his equipment. Because now the festival is over and all his workers was like afraid from the rockets, so they drove away. Me and Zohar didn't afraid at all. We stayed there. We helped him until I think 8 in the morning. I felt that I'm tired. I need to sleep. I danced all night and I helped Matan. I need to sleep before we drive home. And I told Zohar, I think we should sleep. So we took chairs. We took 2 chairs. We went to the main stage. You can see that there was 2 stages. I don't know if you saw what happened on the main stage. We took 2 chairs to the main stage, near this stage, and I just like closed my eyes, wanted to get some sleep. And as I closed my eyes, I heard one girl shouted, "Run, run, terrorists!" I opened my eyes and I see a lot of terrorists ran towards us into the festival and started to shoot on automatic. I immediately understood what's going on, just turned to the other side and started to run really fast in the forest. You can see the festival was in the middle of a forest. I ran to the other side, to the main road side, and Zohar and Matan ran after me, hand by hand. We ran, I think, in the forest, I think 300 meters, until I heard someone in his car shouted, "Run, run to my car. I will take you from this to the road." And I ran and got into the car. Zohar got into the car also, and we were 9 people in little car. Matan was a big man. He was 36, so there wasn't enough room. We were like really close to each other, and he stayed there. I told Zohar, "Zohar, I will be fine. Don't worry, I love you." And this is the last time that we saw him. He was murdered in the Nova. And the driver just went from the forest. We got into the road, into 3-2 road. I was always like, I will be alive. I need to be focused because I will survive this. And when we got to the road, the man that sat next to the driver told him, I see a terrorist. I see terrorists on the left, so took the right side. And the driver took the right side, and we see big white cars with a lot of terrorists shooting towards us. So we had to go to the left, turn to the left, And we also see big white car with terrorists, and one bullet went near my neck and another under my legs, but don't hurt me. We were tracked with terrorists, like from the right, from the left, and from behind the forest. I opened the car's door, just like this, did a round, and ran into orchard. As I ran in zigzag, so the bullets, they continued to shoot, so the bullets like, don't hurt me. I ran about 1 kilometer in the orchard until I jumped into a bush. After a few minutes, I saw Zohar, she jumped after me, and we hid under this bush. In the first few minutes, I just kept hearing them shooting. So I understood that, okay, this is the end, Amit. You will not survive this. I text to my mom, Mom, I love you the most, like to say goodbye. And I text also to my boyfriend, Irad, I love you, thank you. I love you the most. And I wanted to write a note in my phone that after I will die, people who will see this note, they will know about me, that thanks to the world. And as I came to write this note, I saw that I don't have enough battery, and I need to keep this battery, that people will rescue us. And I thought to myself, Amit, you are now 23 years old. On this Saturday, you will not die. The terrorists will not find you. You will fight. You will do what you need to do, but you will survive. And I didn't have gun, so I just, what can I do? So just pray. I said a lot of Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad, a lot of times, and I promised to God a lot of things. And we hid under this bush 9 hours without food, without water. After we danced all night, and we were very thirsty and very hungry, but I don't care, because I will eat under this bush a week, but the terrorists will not find me, no matter what. I will survive for my family, for my boyfriend. That's the decision that I took. If we had to be in silence, because the terrorists surrounding us, we heard them shooting. We were little tiny with hands on our head. We also don't do noise, so the pee we did on ourselves. But I will survive. The battery, at some point, the battery just died. It's okay. It's okay. We heard the terrorists murdered. We heard them kidnapped. We heard them happy that they did it. They shouted, Yalla, Yalla, Allahu Akbar. We heard all this shouting. But we didn't make some noise, nothing. Just in silence, 9 hours. This is the bush I send pictures to my friend, to my family, come to find us. This is me and Zohar after I think 4 hours under this bush. I send it to my boyfriend, look, I'm fine. Don't worry, I will survive. And this, before the terrorists came, few minutes, I sent it to my family. Like, I looked to the sky and I saw all the rockets. This is not something that usually happened. Like, they sending rockets, but not in this amount. It was something different. So as I said, we were 9 hours in this bush. We sending locations to police, to family, but we were surrounding terrorists, so no one could take us from there. And the police also was murdered in the area, and a lot of soldiers. And after 9 hours, we heard, me and Zohar, someone with little Arabic accent shouted in Hebrew, "Is there anyone here alive?" I felt like, okay, this is the end. He will gonna find us. Thank you. And I told Zohar, there is still a terrorist here. And he shouted again in his Arabic accent, in Hebrew, "Is there anyone here alive?" This is the end. Like, okay. And Zohar was desperate to just go from this bush. A lot of hours without food, without water. We were tired. We heard all the terrible things that we heard. So she wanted to believe that this is good person. So she stood up and she shouted, "We are here. We are here." And the man just came, but fortunately, he was a good man. His name is Rami. He rescued and saved 750 people from the Nova Festival. He's a good man that lives in Patish, in Kibbutz Patish. He knows the area very good, so he just took his car without any gun, took his car and rescued and saved lives of people that from the Nova Festival. So he gave me his hand and he told me, "You are fine, don't worry." We weren't fine. There were in the area still terrorists, but he told me, "You are fine, come." And he told me outside from the orchard there are news, Israeli news. They will film you. You care? I don't care. Like, just let me go out. And this is the first time that my family saw that I'm alive. I didn't have battery. My father is the one with the kippah. He didn't believe that I survived this. This is me. He recognized Zohar also. So we were fine. And Rami took us to Patish. And then Zohar's father took us to Zohar's house in the south, because I couldn't drive home, or the south was full of terrorists. On the next day, I drove home. And this is the first time after the Nova Festival that I see my sister. No one believed that a lot of hours I will survive this. After 1 month, I met Rami, the man that rescued me. You can see him. He told me here, I'm your father, like all my kids, I'm your father. And you can see that in this picture that we look the same. We look like, he looks like my father, but no. After 1 week, from the October 7th, it was week that full of funerals, Matan's funeral, and also one of my friends' funeral. I will talk about that. I decided that, okay, I need to go to the military. My commander in the army called me when I was in the bush. And I didn't understand what's going on outside, so I told him, I can't talk right now, I will talk to you later. And then they realized that I stuck in the Nova Festival, so after 1 week, I realized that I need to do something and I need to go to the military. So I went to the military from then until now. In the middle, you can see me and my boyfriend after a few weeks from the October 7th. This is the first time that he saw me because he is a soldier, a combat soldier. And this is me and him. And on the left, on the right, you can see me and my commander in the military. We are close to finish. I just want to tell you about Doreen Atias. She is one of my friends. We learned together in school, and we traveled together in the trip after army, you know, all the Israelis go to South America. We traveled together. She worked at the Nova Festival because she wanted to save money for her brother's wedding. A few weeks later, it's supposed to be his wedding. She was murdered. She was in the car with Eden Yerushalmi, the one that kidnapped and before a few weeks was murdered. I miss her. I love her, and it's important for me to speak about her because she is my friend. I miss her. I love her. I want to say that I'm here first because I am the voice of about 500 people from the Nova Festival that was murdered, that kidnapped from the festival. They can't tell their stories, so I'm here to tell you my story, this story of luck, of God's help. And I'm here also to give hope, because I believe that we will win. And I hope that I do the right things in the military. And also I'm speaking here. It's important for me. It's very important for me. And I know that a lot of people here deny the October 7th and can deny the things that were there, but now you met someone that really was at the Nova Festival. that heard all the terrible things that were there, and in lack, I'm here. So we will win. And Am Israel Chai, thank you for coming and thank you for listening. Thank you.
Wow. Toda rabah. Thank you so much. Unbelievable. The courage, the strength. May God Almighty bless you that you should continue to really be a true light. What you have shown here today just by speaking, the strength that you have is unbelievable, and it's for us to be able to hear from you, your story firsthand is just unbelievable. We're going to have a few questions that Amit said she's happy to answer just for a few more minutes. But I first want to give a few special thank yous. Firstly, I would like to thank the Jewish Federation of Springfield for co-sponsoring with us and helping put together the event. I also want to thank Carrie Israel for being the primary sponsor today, although he's not able to make it for the event, and anybody else that helped out a little bit. We really appreciate that. And a special thank you to the organization, Faces of October 7th, that just shortly after October 7th, they opened up shop, and they had this mission, and they knew it's so important to go out and let the world hear it from the first-hand experiences that took place and witnessed what happened on that day. So we have with us, in addition to Amit, she came together with Hagar, who is one of the many volunteers for the organization, and she's going to help out with the Q&A.
Toda, thank you. Just a note. So Amit here is to speak about her story. So please feel free to ask her whatever you guys want, but we try to keep it clean from politics. So just ask her about her story. בבקשה. Yes, hi, please.
You said there was about like 9 other people in that car with you. So what happened? Because you took it upon yourself to get out to the car. So what happened with the other people? Because there was 9.
Yes. I don't know. Me and Zohar just looked up for them in a lot of groups, in a lot of meetings of the Survivor Festival, on Facebook. I don't know. Actually, I hope they are fine. The driver saved my life. Of course, it took me from the area of the festival that in this area, just a few survived there, and it saved my life. But I hope they are fine.
Yes, please.
Can you describe that foreboding feeling you had before you left for the festival? What caused that?
תסבירי על ההרגשה שהייתה לך לפני.
Okay. I think that usually I go to festivals and party with my boyfriend, but it was Simchat Torah, as you know, and Simchat Torah, this is his favorite holiday, and he loves to do this holiday with his family in the synagogue. They sing songs, and he really loved this holiday. So he told me, Amit, go alone. I'm not coming with you. And I don't know. I love festivals. I love parties, but just this was the only one that I felt there, and Stephen told me, Amit, don't go, it's not gonna be fun. I went, but I think that these feelings, like I keep myself focused, because I knew, Amit, you need to be focused if you want to survive this.
Yes, please.
First of all, thanks for coming out. It's really important for people to hear your witness. How do you feel this event affected your faith, any faith that you have?
Okay, that's a good question. I think just after 4 months after the October 7th, I started to understand really what's going on after my boyfriend came back from Gaza, and my stress just went little down, and I started to remember all the promise that I promised under the bush. A lot. 9 hours of promises. I will be good person, and just let me go out. I will keep Shabbat. No, a lot of things. I know that Simchat Torah will keep Shabbat. I know it. But from then until now, I don't know why. I don't know if it's connect to my faith, but I wasn't in parties on Fridays. I don't know, I think, of course, on all Israel, I think this event affects.
Thank you.
Yes, please.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much for sharing part of your soul with us. On that day, it was Shabbat, but I heard the news and I told Rabbi Turin it felt more like Tisha B'Av than Simchat Torah because of what was going on. And I want to thank you for reaching out, touching all of our souls, and allowing us to be mouthpieces to continue to tell your important story.
Thank you, and I will say that this is my second time here in America. I was here before 5 months. I was in the South, I think, in Miami, in Charleston, in New Orleans, and I talked. This is for me also, of course, and thank you for listening to me. It's important for me that everyone will know what's really was there.
Yes, please.
Do you feel like your military experience and service in the army really helped you to survive that day?
Yes, I think yes. I like to run, so I ran really fast. And you can recognize that the shooting, it's not Israeli shooting. They shoot on automat. And it's not allowed, not just in Israel, but this is in the international law. And every soldier knows that you can't put the gun on automat. Every soldier, so when I just heard it, this is not the army. And the army will not do something like this. So you can recognize this, and I think yes, I was officer, and me and Zohar was in a spatial unity. So I probably yes.
Yes, miss.
Again, thank you for sharing your story. Your friend Zohar, how has she recovered from
איך היא החלימה?
someone that she's really
היא מחלימה?
I think until now, she's my best friend. So of course I'm strong for her. This is my main course. This is not easy. The terrorists not only shoot him, they also burn his body in a car. They burn 2 bodies, him and another girl, in a car, and the police found his body, little part of his body, just 5 days after the October 7th. It was very hard funeral. 1 month before the October 7th, they just moved to live house next to house. She moved to his area, to his city. It's hard. A lot of was murdered.
רוצה להגיד משהו בעברית? Yes, please.
So it, we understood that something different in the sky because there was so many rockets. The rockets just didn't stop. Just didn't stop. You know, it like they shoot like 1, 2, 3. That's it usually. And this morning they shot a lot of rockets.
אני רוצה
They
שנייה להגיד
sent a lot of
מספר.
rockets.
This morning, in the first 20 minutes, there were shot more than 1,500 rockets through to Israel. That's, by the way, how the terrorists came in, because we were all focused, the army, we were all focused on the rockets. So it was like only for the first hours, more than 30,000 rockets in 1 hour. So it's like, it's something that, it's a number that's never been in Israel from Gaza before.
So you think it was like a diversion tactic?
It is, it was.
And then did they like funnel you guys in, you said with the 2 vans and everything like that? They funneled you in? Is that how like it kind of worked out?
Well, they did a lot of like, they just like, when, it was very organized by Hamas. It wasn't just like randomly attacked. It was very organized, and when some of the terrorists, they acting like an army, yeah? It's army for like, it's just not an army, it's a terrorist organization, but they have divisions, they have commanders, they have like rules for everyone. And so while some of them shooting the rockets, they're like the Nukhba, if anyone's heard the name Nukhba, terrorists came inside with vans, tractors, pickup trucks, and whatever they can. Then they stole the cars, the Israeli cars that they saw. And that was on the first 30, maybe the first hour. And the second wave, we call it, Agala Sheni, second wave, came another terrorist and another like civilians from Gaza. Just came to steal and to help the Hamas terrorists. Yes, please.
How long did it take before the military actually started arriving to help terrorists?
So the reaction was like not that good, especially for like that's what people like. There's a lot of going on right now. We still like obviously there's like investigation is still going on, but. It took, I think, like from what I know, about like 30 minutes for the first 2 helicopters, Apache helicopters, so it's like a fighter helicopters, to arrive from north. And after that, there was a lot, but there was also a lot of terrorists. I mean, you can shoot and you have like 6 rockets on 1 helicopter. So you shoot there, you finish to shooting, and then you need to go back to the base and. You know, it became slow, and that's the Air Force, and for the Navy were like actually did a pretty good job. Not a lot of terrorists came from the sea. From what I know. I mean, they did came to the Zakim area near Ashkelon. There is some some terrorists that came, but most of the terrorists from the sea, like the Navy took them down, which is good, and from the fighters, the army, it was like it took a while, yeah, unfortunately.
I want to add, my father was a commander in the army, 33 years, in Golani. The terrorists murdered the police and the soldiers, a lot of Golani soldiers, if you know the name, that was near the border and keep the border. When me and Zohar hid under the bush, we asked, where is the police? Where is everyone? 9 hours. But I think that when we just went out from the bush, we understood that they murdered the police stations and the soldiers.
Let's do the last question, please, if anyone. Yeah, I'm sorry, yes.
So you went back into the IDF after a couple weeks, and what was your experience?
1 week.
So from that point until you left for the U.S., what did you do? What was your experience?
In the military, I was in Shura, if you know, Shura camp. It's where the dead bodies. I was responsible for the objects of the kidnapped soldiers and also the soldiers that died in war. So I just was responsible for their objects and that to return to the families.
The Shura, it's a special place they became that raise up to bring the bodies and the thing that left from bodies from the south and Nova Festival and the South Kibbutzim. It doesn't exist anymore, I think. Like, I don't know if it's it's a special for it became after October 7. הוקם, איך אומרים הוקם?
Established.
Yeah, after the the day after October 7. Yeah. תודה. תודה רבה.
Thank you.
Amen.
Maybe later.
שנייה אחת, אני אביא. שנייה, עמית, שנייה. Just as a small gesture of thank you, one of the things that we pray for most, of course, is peace. So this is a piece of art that says in it Shalom in the shape of a menorah from somebody here in Springfield. And we want to thank you so much, like mentioned, for being so courageous and coming out. And we want to thank everybody for being here. Being here together as a community is what makes it so special. And there's a song that touches on the most important point. We know that we pray for so many things, but we know we pray for the coming of Mashiach. When that is going to happen, that's going to be the time that we're going to have true peace in the whole world. Everybody is welcome to join along. Shalom b'mromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, v'imru, amen. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom. Shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, Shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael. Let's do a special prayer for the coming of Mashiach. Everyone is welcome to repeat after me. Yechi Adonenu, Moirenu, V'Rabbeinu, Melech HaMashiach La'ilam Va'ed. Once again, thank you all so much for being here today. Very, very meaningful. Thank you, Amit. Very moving. We appreciate it so much.